Hello, my name is Dan Skipallen, and this is 1999, the best film year ever. This is a podcast or YouTube show, however you want to describe it, that is inspired by this book right here, The Best Film Year Ever, Movie Year Ever by Brian Rafferty. And he supposed that 1999 was the best film year ever, and that there was so many great films and filmmakers that made movies that year that it has possibly speculated as the best film year ever. So this is a show that I have started with my good buddy, Mr. Vincent LaSpada. And we're going to go down a bunch of movies.
What's up, fellas?
How you doing, Vinny?
I just put my Hawaiian shirt on. I'm ready to take a little cruise down memory lane of 1999.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about a bunch of 1999 movies. Sometimes we're going to have guests. Sometimes we're not going to have guests. In the case of this episode, we're going to be discussing the 1999 rom-com Notting Hill, and we do have a special guest, a young lady by the name of Cactus Caitie. Katie, welcome to 1999, the best film year ever.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we couldn't do a Julia Roberts rom-com without having a woman with us. And is this the first time watch for you, Katie, watching Notting Hill?
It was my first time watching it because I was 9.
You were 9 in 1999. Okay. Well, what I was going to say was, you have a perspective that I don't have because I've seen this movie multiple times. So seeing it from the point of view, a first-time point of view, you'll have a perspective that none of us, well, Mr. Vincent LaSpada has only watched this movie one time, so he has a different perspective as well. Let's though get into the nitty-gritty of the movie a little bit, okay? So I'm going to talk a little bit about the plot at the beginning, and then I'm going to throw it around to you guys, and we'll start talking about it. It stars, obviously, Julia Roberts as Anna Scott. Anna Scott is an actress. She just happens to be in England, and she wanders into a bookstore that's owned and operated by a guy by the name of Will, who's played by Hugh Grant. And he has a roommate played by Reese Ifans. That's a guy by the name of Spike. We'll get into talking about Spike a little bit. We'll get into talking about Spike before you know it. So the beginning of this movie, Vinny, you know what? I'm going to go to our guests first. We're going to get a perspective from the guests first before we get your perspective, Vinny, on this. So you see Julia Roberts, you see Hugh Grant, and you see rom-com. What was your first, before you had a chance to watch this movie, Katie, what was your perspective on, okay, this is going to be blank?
Well, I mean, rom-coms are a favorite of mine when it comes to a genre of movies. So I was hopeful that it would be entertaining, but I was also skeptical because of the year. And it's such a difference in technology back then that is now. So I was hoping that would still entertain me. And I was proven wrong. It was, to me, a very entertaining movie. I really enjoyed it. There was lots of funny parts. And it was a good Saturday night chilling on the couch kind of movie.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Vinny, you're more of a skeptic when it comes to movies. You like to get into it right off the bat. It has to be action-packed or things that make you laugh right off the bat. What was your perspective when you knew you had to watch Notting Hill before going in to watch this movie?
I can't sit here and say that. I feel like the first 20, 30 minutes were the best part of the movie. I don't know why. Maybe it was because of Spike. Maybe because we were watching the story unfold in front of us. But as we got into the story, I thought it was very boring. Like the dinner scene, it was so awkward. It was so awkward. Like this guy's burning the chicken and he's answering the door, and then the one girl comes in and she's like a redhead, and she's like,
Who was that? Who do you think that was?
That was Benny. You don't know who that redhead was?
no.
That was
That was
Will's sister.
Will's sister. It was her birthday.
No, I know that. I'm just saying, like,
There were so many funny parts of that dinner table.
yeah, you can call it whatever you want to call it. It was just awkward. Like she's sitting there watching these people. Like
It was supposed to be awkward.
I know, but like it was just awkward to watch because like she's unfolding this in front of her and she's trying to take it all in. And I don't know if she's reminiscent of a better time. As she's blowing out the candles, she's being happy that his sister has a hat on, the other guy. And here's the crazy part: at the end of that party, she leaves the party, and they all like yell. So they knew who she was. They were just playing stupid. But then what really got to me at the end, in the middle of it, when you find out that Alec Baldwin is the boyfriend of Julia Roberts, I'm like, okay, I'm done.
All right. Well, you're getting a little too ahead of yourself, Vinny. You're getting a little too ahead. That wasn't the question I asked you. So, what was your perspective going into the movie before watching the movie? What did you expect to find with a rom-com from 1999 starring Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant? That was the question I asked. Not give me a whole rundown of what you thought of the movie. We haven't got to that point yet.
What I thought about a rom-com in 1990 compared to now, I knew that I was going to be very shocked because rom-coms today are totally different than rom-coms back then. Like night and day. Like you watch movies from back then and then you watch movies from today and you're like, what were we thinking back then? Why were we doing this? Why is this movie so funny? And when I knew going into to Notting Hill, I knew the story behind Notting Hill wasn't horrible. Maybe it's just I'm getting a lot older and I just feel like that movie in today's society does not fit.
Okay. All right. So you're saying because of the fact that it's a period piece from 26 years ago, that it's not relatable today in today's society. Is that what you're saying?
Not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
See, right. I have a different view. As a female, I think a lot of females still have those situations, those feelings that all came up during that movie.
I'm not saying they don't. I did not say they're not. I am just saying
very relatable.
Let her speak, Mr. Benny.
I still think it's very relatable. There's some parts in the main points of the movie that will never go out of style, that will always, be relatable to somebody. And rom-coms trigger that.
All right. Good point. You make a good point. Now, Vinny, what was your rebuttal to what Katie was saying there?
No, I was just saying you're right. There are parts in our lives today that we look at and we say a female can relate to that. I agree. I
think there's some men that can also relate. There's plenty of men that, have crushes on women that they don't, or think that they can't get, or, is out of their league and are hopeful for that.
You're not wrong about that one.
That's where I'm going to chime in here. So look, I have a different perspective than you guys. You guys have been in a lot of relationships. One of you is married with a husband and children. The other one has been in multiple relationships. I haven't been in a lot of relationships. And so I kind of go with what you just said a little bit, Katie, whereas I'm the guy that kind of lives his life, goes here, goes there, eats what he wants, says what he wants, watches what he wants. I go to see a ball game on my own, whatever. I invite friends to concerts or ball games. Nobody comes. I do things on my own. So I'm a loner. I just have been a loner in my entire life. So I don't find that. I find that where I have a skepticism to relationships because relationships have always eluded me, you know? So I'm kind of more of like the guy off to the side watching this go on with two people.
So you're like the roommate.
Yeah, I'm more like Spike. I'm more like the Spike character. Where
man, I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that.
I'm walking around in my underwear while they're hanging around in the house talking and stuff like that. I'm going to the refrigerator, grabbing a beer out of the fridge while you guys are having whatever.
See, everybody can relate to this movie some way, somehow.
When I saw that guy walk on the screen, I said, "Oh boy, that is Skip. That please Skip."
I'm like the roommate that you're like, hey, he's just my roommate. Don't just ignore him. Don't worry, he's not gonna bother you or anything. But he's just here. You know, he exists. And I like the Reese Ifans character. He was still searching for love. You know, just like Will Thacker was. And so I felt like there was a connection between the two of them. But one was on a different level than the other one. He was trying to get in a relationship with a movie actress. The other one was he'd take whoever he could get at that point in his life. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. And I think I do find a connection in that way where there is a relatability in this movie, I feel, between Vinny and I in a lot of ways. Because I'm like the buddy who hangs out at his house sometimes. Maybe I'd stay over one night or two nights, and then I go back and live my life in my own home, in my own world. And then next week I might come back for a couple of days, whatever. So I do feel like the Reese Ifans character is a lot more like me, and the Will Thacker character is like Vinny, who's looking for love, and he's trying to find that somebody that's going to make him special. He's had a bad relationship in his life in the past, and he's kind of a little gun shy a little bit. Am I catching your drifts on this, guys? Have I caught up?
I'm not disagreeing with the comparable there.
You're definitely right about that.
Yeah, you know, so that I
feel like here we can just play these characters. Let's just go with
it. So you're saying you're the Anna Scott and Vinny is the Will Thacker character? Is that what you're saying, Katie?
That makes way more sense.
And I'm the Spike character? Oh wow, interesting. Yeah, I mean, no, it was
unfortunately
weird.
Vince doesn't have a sister.
Yeah. Yeah,
you're right.
He's got a niece. He's got a quirky niece, or he's got a goofy brother, or well, I won't go too far into it. But let's talk about the fact that, you know, movies have quotes, okay? And I can quote movies. We all have movies. Vinny can quote movies. I'm sure, Katie, there's movies that you know that you can quote. There's a very famous quote from this movie, and I think it's something that we should talk about, and we're going to get there. I want to get there too soon, guys. I don't want to get there too soon. Okay, let's talk about the party sequence, the friend group. Okay, so you have the one friend who's got the wife that fell down the stairs and she's in the wheelchair. Okay. Then you have
Will's best friend.
Say that again.
That is Will's best friend. The girl.
Yeah, that's Will's best friend. Then you got the other friend who's got his girlfriend, who's the stockbroker. That's Hugh Bonneville. If you ever watched The Crown, the Downton Abbey, you know who Hugh Bonneville is. He's the father in Downton Abbey. He's in all the movies. So that's who Hugh. And then you got the sister. She's the kind of weird sister, kind of a little wacky, a little out there, awkward. What do you guys think about the weekly dinners where they're talking and they're just giving their stories away to their family members? And, well, how's your day going? How was your week? And how's your love life? And how do you? I thought that was interesting because I think that's a relatable thing where families have dinners with the in-laws or their buddies and their other couples and stuff like that. I used to do that when I was younger, except I was the loner and everybody else had their wives or their girlfriends with them, you know, back in the day. But I thought that was kind of a fun aspect. You get to learn about the world that these people live in and their personalities and where they're coming from and what their ups and their downs in their lives. What do you think about that, Vinny?
I always like to see people's different perspectives and the way they come from. Each character had their own quirkiness and their own outlook of life. Um, you had Julia Roberts, who was an actress. I think the one guy that came over with the present, he had a job in the stock market. The one girl was in a wheelchair. I don't remember what the sister did, or I don't remember.
I think what she
But
did too.
they all had their own different outlook on life, and I'm going to tell you this right now. I feel like in today's society, parties like that don't happen like that anymore because everybody has technology. They have their phones. I mean, we see it now with families with kids. They don't go to the dinner table without a phone and talk. Hey, Jimmy, how was your day? How's Sally? How was your day? It doesn't happen like that anymore, unless you're really on top of putting the hand down and saying, listen, we're not going to start dinner this way. We're all going to talk and communicate with each other about how their day was. So in that aspect, I look at that party scene and I'm like, that was us 26 years ago. Like we had parties, meet and greets, like we all like congregated in a setting. Today, they still have that, but it's more of a, hey Jimmy, how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. Like you're not really there in the moment. You're out of the box, and I think I can appreciate that because I preach this all the time. I preach that I wish society and families today still acted like they gave a shit when they went to a party or had a family outing. That's what I got from that.
So you said you'd rather have people be like this, where they're more present in a group setting with their friends and family members. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, Katie, what did you get out of these scenes, and was there anything that stuck out to you regarding these party scenes, these dinner scenes?
I'm gonna say that I am extremely fortunate that I still have a group of friends like that we get together, we go on trips together, we try to have that connection. It may not be weekly, it may not be monthly, because yes, we have our own families and things like that, but we still make it a priority. And that's what I feel like has been said, it is lost in this generation. I'm not going to, argue with that. But it also depends on how much you want it. And don't get me wrong. I will, at my dinner table, we all sit down, we eat together, we don't have phones. But if I have a whole bunch of people, like adults around the table, I am for sure giving my kids an iPad after they finish. Get out of here. I want to eat and talk. Those are just accessibilities that we have nowadays, which are great. They're, a blessing and a curse. But I related to that because I enjoy that time as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to have a group of buddies that I coached sports with, or my other buddy, he was one of my buddies in high school, then became a basketball coach year long, and I would go to his family gatherings and stuff, especially like on like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. We'd have gatherings over his, and I'd sit at the table and we'd talk.
Friendsgiving. We have Friendsgiving every year.
Yeah, so I have gatherings like that. And my coaching buddies, they had the wives or the girlfriends. We just have get-togethers or go to a local establishment and just eat burgers and wings and stuff like that or whatever, And I think you guys are right, where it's like the time that this movie came out, it really does show that 26 years ago was a different time. It may not seem like that long ago for me because I seen these movies in the theater 26 years ago, but for people that were young like you guys, this was a different time period. And it's interesting to see your perspective of the movie as a whole regarding today compared to back then. That was I thought that was two different ideas of how you relate to it in different ways, and whether you like it or you don't like it in the context of the movie. So that was kind of cool. Let's just talk about Julia Roberts, for instance. She's an Oscar-winning actress who, oh, look at this. She won an Oscar for Erin Brockovich. But 1999 was a big year for Julia Roberts. She had Notting Hill this year, and later on in the year, she had The Runaway Bride. We will get to The Runaway Bride. Katie, you want to come back and talk about that? We'll have you back.
All right.
If you want, I mean, it's we'll see. But
I have
if you
to watch
want,
it first.
yeah, you gotta watch it. If you haven't watched it, it's another first time watch for Katie. If she decides to come back on the podcast and watch Runaway Bride and talk about it. Julia Roberts, I saw her first years ago in Mystic Pizza. Then I saw her in movies like Pretty Woman, The Pelican Brief, and these types of movies. But she kind of had shoehorned into this rom-com role because she was like America's kind of sweetheart, this pretty looking woman. And she had a nice attitude and a demeanor about her. And she kind of had that everyday quality to her. And then she became this massive movie star over the years. The fact that she plays a movie star is pretty relatable, I would say, for her as an actress. Anna Scott is an actress, and she's going through the things that Julia Roberts probably went through in real life. So correlate that, Katie, as far as the relatability you think that Julia Roberts has and how she probably had to handle this character, because this had to be pretty up her alley, I would say, don't you think?
I'm sure she for sure had lots of relatable points in this character. And you could tell she was much more comfortable than, there was no awkwardness. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. She had to pretend like she was awkward in the relationship, but not the movie star aspect of it all. Because we did see her on set later in the movie, and she's just doing her thing. And then all of a sudden she looks over and he's sitting on the rail, and the guy wouldn't let him in to come talk to her. But when she said, "Hey, I need to take a break," and she walked over, but she was on the set of a period, looks like a period colonial Western or something like that. And why they were filming in England, I guess it's because they have nice old houses in England. Who knows? But
I don't know who was more awkward though, him or her.
Oh, really?
They both were awkward. Just they made dating awkward. Like it just.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about her.
And this is not a traditional boy down the street kind of relationship either. He is very nervous that this lady is way out of his league. He's also post-traumatic because he just came out of a failed marriage. We forgot about that part. And so he is way more reserved going into this relationship.
You're absolutely right. But let me just tell you this. This never happens in real life, okay? This never happens. This is baloney bullshit, okay?
Whoa.
This will never happen in real life. You will not see somebody at a bookstore, okay, and then 5 minutes later go down the street and bump into her and spilling her coffee, and then so happen, oh, by the way, my house is right across the street. Would you like to come in? Okay, yeah, sure. Me too. Get the hell out of here.
So romantic.
Yeah, it's romantic, but it would never happen. It's false. That's why it's a movie.
Well, you make a good point. But you got to have a little bit of
hopes and dreams.
Yeah, you got to kind of have. That's what movies are for. It's supposed to make you feel like, okay, this something wonderful could possibly happen. Because in my life, I'm living the 9-to-5 job or with a couple of the kids and struggling or this or that. And so you have this kind of like, oh, the normal guy in a bookstore falls in love with this big time actress because she's. Go ahead.
Everybody wants that instant spark, fall in love instantly, or what is that saying called? Love at first sight. Everybody wants that. Is it reality?
No. Not
in everybody's cases. If you're lucky enough to have an incident like that, I hope you never lose it. But, that's what rom-coms are all about.
Yeah, it's supposed to put you in a situation that isn't a real situation. You know what I mean? And I think that's what I think about Julia Roberts, though, as an actress. She has that believability quality where you say, okay, she could play an actress who falls in love with the bookstore owner in a little suburb of England in Notting Hill, England. You know what I mean? She's got that quality, and that's why this movie hit it off with so many people. You know what I mean? it had, I mean, it has amazing like Rotten Tomatoes scores and all this stuff, and that's the reason why, because so many people could watch it and say, oh yeah, that's the kind of movie that I could relate to a lot of the qualities, even though obviously then you don't seem to be able to separate the difference of a movie in a real life situation. I mean, that's something that I think.
This is it. I said I have had those incidents. I have had a situation like that.
We know.
Have you guys as the males ever had those situations?
Where you found a celebrity that you had a crush on?
Yeah.
Really? No, I haven't. I have not had that. That's crazy.
Or someone that you thought, that you couldn't have a connection with.
No, this is completely like new to me. That would be amazing.
New to. What about you, Vince?
I've had it once or twice. I have.
So let's see if there's some reality here.
I also said to myself, I am a realistic person. I am not one of those that thinks. It is funny when you hang out with a lot of Spanish friends, like Spanish guys. Spanish guys will always think that they're like a poppy shampoo and they're better than anybody else. Like that's just their nature of the beast. So they're always thinking they're going to get whoever they want. Like that's just how they think. Like they don't care. In reality, I'm not that kind of person. I'm the one that's like, okay, listen, let's be realistic. A girl like that is never going to go for a guy like me. And they say, well, that's your problem. You don't give yourself credit. And I'm
so
like,
your will.
I don't give myself credit because I know I'm not, like if you're good at listen, if you're good at talking or doing something like that, you're going to have confidence. But if you know that there's a chance that it's just out of your league, I mean, there's no reason to. I mean, but maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I should give myself more confidence. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see, like, I have met celebrities and I get choked up with celebrities. I've been around celebrities with Vinny and I get choked up with celebrities. I want to come in and I want to say something to these people, and then I end up saying the most idiotic, stupid stuff. It's like, man, really? This is what you end up saying? And this isn't women. I'm just saying, well, women and men in general, because I get so I get like, well, I'm fanning instead of just trying to be a normal person, And I feel like that would be hard for men to do. And it's interesting that you say, is it somebody that you could say who it was, a celebrity is it something you can divulge here, Katie, or if it's something that's secret that you can't divulge?
Are you saying, can I give you the example of the time that I had these feelings?
Yes. If you don't mind. If it's something you can't say, don't use names. You don't have to use the real names. You can use fake names. I'd love to hear the story in the context of the movie. Yeah.
Me too. I would love to hear this story. Would love to. I know nothing about it.
I honestly feel like my life could be a movie. It is the best rom-com movie in the entire world. Okay. With just my past and history and things like that. But yes, no, I have had many incidents like this. I have experienced love at first sight. I have experienced that too good to be true kind of situation. And I've also, on the flip side, have also been chased down a boardwalk with people trying to get a hold of me. So,
ooh, wow.
Yeah, so I have experienced kind of, and I'm sure, Vince has probably felt the same way before. But yeah, so mine may not have actually been a true celebrity, but in my eyes, it was very much a love first sight, too good to be true situation.
Okay. All right.
Like Will and Anna's situation.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Except mine lasted 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be honest. That I've never felt that way. I've had infatuations for certain women over the years, but I've never felt where like it was like love
It's a
at
rough
first
crowd
sight.
tonight.
My whole life, I want to spend the rest of my life with somebody. That's how much I love this person. It's just
You want to know? You want to even know more details on this? I put my foot in my mouth, as you said, famming, when this situation unfolded.
fangirling.
When I was fangirling, but I didn't know who this person was. I had no earthly person who this was. I was
Wow.
working. I was working, and I looked over at my boss, and I said, "I'm going to marry that person one day." And she said, "Do you know who that is?" I said, no idea who that person is. And she's like, "Oh, that's the owner's son," or blah blah blah. And like what, I don't know, 9 months later, maybe a year later, we ended up dating, and we dated for 9 months or 9 years. So
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a really relatable story in comparison to the movie. So is this one of the this movie is so relatable to you personally, Katie? That's why you like it so much. Is that we'll get to the end of it?
Yeah.
I
did not know that going into this movie that I was going to feel very relatable. But there were so many scenes that I did fall in love with, for sure, that I just related to. And when you feel related to a scene, you and we should probably talk about scenes to kind of move on here.
What? All right, we'll go to Vinny first. Vinny, what's of all the scenes in the entire movie? What are some scenes that?
Oh boy,
Vinny. I mean, what are things in the movie that you really like something that stuck out to you?
Stuck out to you, Mr. Vincent.
Not the ending. We're not going to get to the end yet. We're going to get there.
Don't be a spoiler. Just talk.
Well, I'm getting old here, so my bedtime's coming up soon. But I gotta say, after watching it for
experience,
have
you ever had experiences?
Yes, I have. And after watching this film, because I've seen the film before, it's just been a while. And listen, I don't want people to think I hated this film. I didn't hate it. I did recognize that there are parts in this film that can relate to me. I did. I just, for me, I'm a, like Skip said at the beginning of the film, of the show, I'm more of a let's get started. Let's break this through.
Oh, it had a slow start. It built up. I will give you that.
So I am very much so for me, I give movies 20 minutes. If I can't get into it in 20 minutes, I'm turning it off. And it sucks. But in reality, I really want to enjoy it. And, correct me if I'm wrong, Skip. We used to really, really crack down on watching some movies over the years. Like we would do 3, 4, 5, movies a week, seeing them before they come out. I was really, for 3 or 4 years, maybe I was really into making sure I get off early or try to come to the screenings. And, but I think we all know this and we all can relate to this, but after a while, sometimes those hobbies that we have, they change over the years. We find new hobbies, we find new ways of looking at things in life. So this movie to me, I did relate to it because I could say that I saw some things in my life that really only happens once in a while, once in a lifetime. I mean, let's just be honest, that happens once in a lifetime. I mean, guys, people get lucky and it happens twice, but realistically, love at first sight is just it's one in a lifetime. And I have experienced it, and I had it and I didn't hold on to it, and I lost it. And I wish I could rewind time and fix the problem that happened. But we all know right now there is no Doc and Marty, and the time machine is not available right now. But if it was, I would be putting the team together and we'd be going back in time.
I'd love to go back to 1963 and collect all the things that are worth money today.
I don't want to go back that far.
Okay. I want to go back that far and collect all the things that are worth money today. And then bring them back with me, and then sell them for thousands and thousands and thousands.
I could just go back to in 2012.
2012.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not even worried about what's worth anything. I'm just worried about what I could get myself back into.
Yeah. No, I understand. All right, so the setting of Notting Hill is a specific subsection of England in a neighborhood of England.
Is that a real neighborhood?
Yeah, it's a real neighborhood in England.
Oh.
What do you guys think about the setting of the movie? This specific little neighborhood, this nook of a little neighborhood in here. Does it remind you like New York, or do you like specific settings in towns or whatever?
It reminded me a lot of like Charleston, Savannah, very small walk around cities. Not so much the big cities like New York. Granted, I really haven't spent that much time in New York, but I have gone to England, and I have seen many towns like this. And I mean, that's just the norm up there in England. My sister lived there for 4+ years, and so she had a flat, and you had all the little restaurants walkable to you. When I was watching this movie, I was laughing at the architecture of these homes, because that is honestly what a flat in England looks like. They are straight up, those stairs.
Is that a flat is what, the apartment or the stairs?
No, an apartment is called a flat in England.
Oh, is that where they had the little the scene where they're doing the party?
That's a flat. I mean,
that looks very small.
Yeah. But like you could see in like when they did all those hallway scenes, and it really did favor the architecture of England. Yes.
Yeah, so you felt like Notting Hill itself, the neighborhood, the houses, the apartments, it was like a character in the movie in this specific kind of quaint little romantic story.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had a buddy back about 15 years ago. He lived in Brookline, which is a subsection of Boston, where it's in a
I'm
really
sure Boston
nice.
probably looks like that too.
Yeah, and it's like everything: your dentist's office, your doctor, your barber, your bar. You're within 5-minute walk. Yeah, and then, they have in England they have mass transit. They have also in Boston's mass transit. They have the Green Line goes right by Brookline, and it's just everything's right there. 3 stops away from Fenway Park. And I said to myself, man, if I could ever just like make enough money to afford to live anywhere, I would want to live about 6 months out of the year, maybe 4 months out of the year in Brookline, Boston, right in the neighborhood of like the Bowen Finch pub we all know is Cheers. And I got my dentist, my doctor, my barber, my little coffee shop, my little breakfast place, all within a 5-minute walk of where, and then get in my 3 stops of the Green Line and go to Fenway Park, go to get my season tickets to the Red Sox. I always wanted that.
Wow, you're winning the lottery here, Skip, in this dream.
I wish I could have that lifestyle. It's just, but and then I love little quaint neighborhoods like this where you just go down here to your coffee shops over here, your buddy's apartments over there. You go to your store.
Well, and that's how they're able to have. They're able to have these little get-togethers. There's too much for Vince. Too much rom-com. He's too soft.
I don't know. He left for a minute, but I don't want to get into the end of the movie until Vinny comes back. Something happened.
Right. Well, let's talk about the different scenes. We had the scene where she got her outfit messed up, and who ends up just going to a stranger's house? Certainly not in this day and age. Do you just walk into some man's house? Never.
Yeah,
especially choosing your clothes. Luckily, he was a very respectful person. But that was a gamble.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. And we live in a day and age today. We live in a day and age today where celebrities are all over the news. You could just go on Facebook, you go on Instagram, you go on the news. Everybody's lives are out there for everybody to see. You know what I mean? And back then, you could hide as a celebrity because you didn't have phones in your pocket. You didn't have Instagram. You didn't have Facebook. You didn't have you had the 15-minute of fame news coverage because we've gotten a lot of those movies over the years. OJ, Atlanta bombing, Nancy Kerrigan. Boom, 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 boom. We've got all those 15 minutes of fame movies, but we don't got where she could possibly hide in some guy's apartment in England for days on end and just live there for a celebrity and nobody know where she was. Today, they would have known where she was in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff was funny to me, where she was hiding in his apartment, taking a bath in his bathtub and all this stuff. And then, of course, once they found out she was there, it was just like they flocked to the apartment and they wanted to get, oh my God, Anna Scott, the big actress, is slumming it with this bookstore.
But didn't the roommate tip it off?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but the roommate did tip it off. Spike gave it away. That's something I would probably do. Spill the beans.
For sure. Oh, yeah. You've done it many times.
Spill the beans by accident, not really wanting to spill the beans. I don't think Spike wanted to spill the beans, but he.
So what you're saying, Vince, if you ever have a secret weekend, don't tell Skip. Okay.
Yeah. No secret rendezvous that I need to know about. I do not need to know about any secret rendezvous where you're going off to Clearwater and staying in a bungalow on the beach or anything like that. Nothing like that, Vinny. I don't want to know anything about
There's Skip for you. Holy shit.
No informations, Vinny. I don't want to know any stories like that.
Because he'll tell the world. Okay?
I'm going to tell the world. Yeah, I'm definitely going to tell the world. So do not tell me about any situations like that. But let's get into this. This is a kind of a key moment in the movie. And I alluded to quotes. I was alluding to quotes. I forget how to move you guys back to the way. Let's see. Nope. Shoot. That's not good. I screwed that up. That was not good. I don't know how. I don't know how to move you guys back to where you were.
What was your favorite scene?
Okay.
Skip? What was your favorite scene?
Well,
no, I didn't.
Vinny, did we not get to Vinny's favorite scene, or did we already get to Vinny's favorite?
I don't. Did we say your favorite scene, Skip?
Nope.
Yeah, I told you the movie scene where all the people were outside. She thought she was hiding out in the apartment. They were getting along, and everything was fun, and then all of a sudden, ding dong, and he goes, Spike, don't go outside. He goes outside in his tiny whiteies, it's like, come on, Reese Evans. Nobody wants to see that, Reese Evans.
All right, Vince, what was your favorite scene?
I really, as much as I thought it was stupid, I really liked the scene at the birthday scene. I thought seeing the reactions of everybody on their face, I thought that was good. The one that got me the most was probably the scene where he knocks on the door and finds out that she has a boyfriend. That's
too good to be true, right?
Well, yeah, that to me, it's typical Hollywood. We've seen this many times. This is not the first time we've seen it. So for me, it's it always happened. I love that saying, it's too good to be true. It's a true fact, because usually when it's really, really good, there's always something behind the goodness.
Yeah, that was a rough scene. I really felt bad for Will. And then the dates. Then the friends set them up with the dates, and they all have weird sensibilities. Eating.
No one's ever going to compare. No one's ever going to compare to that person in mind.
Yep.
What was that last part, Katie?
I said no one's ever going to compare to that person you fell in love with.
Yeah. Everybody's going to have faults and have something they don't level up to. That one love of your life. All right, so let's get into the quotes. Okay, all the great movies, Taxi Driver. Talking to me? You talking? There's nobody here. You talking to me? What? Give me a Back to the Future quote, Vinny. You're a Back to the Future. Give me a
Let's see. I got a couple.
s-
Great Scott.
great. I mean, yeah,
The one that I love, there's two that I like that nobody really uses. It's from Back to Future 3. There's one that says, in about 15 minutes, he's going to be as sober as a priest on Sunday.
Okay. So, look, movies, one of the memorable quality about movies is they have quotes that we love. Are there any quotes from any movies that you love, Katie, that always stick with you? Something like The Mask, smoking, or in one of the Ace Ventura movies, I think I wouldn't go in there.
No, it's an Ace Ventura for sure.
Oh, you definitely like Ace Ventura too.
Yeah, I like Ace Ventura. And it would be back the movie he did with Florida, Miami, Dolphin. What was it? Pet Detective?
Yeah.
Ace Ventura Pet Detective.
Yeah. And I love when he's like talking with his butt.
Oh God. I love those scenes. What was it? There's other ones where it's oh God, why can't I think of the name of okay. So you get the idea. Yeah. All the great movies have great quotes, and there's great lines of dialogues that make the movies memorable, make you remember what these movies are and why they're so memorable. Go ahead, Katie.
Well, Vince, what is that movie, The Wild Thing? When that everyone's gonna always remember when that music hit and he came from the wall.
Oh, that's Major League.
Major League.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Everyone's gonna remember that one.
Yeah, I mean,
because John Moxley stole it.
Wow thing. Oh man, will make your heart sing. That it's just look, all the great movies have great quotes. Notting Hill has one of the greatest quotes of all time. And it's, if you go back, I would say go look at the 100 greatest movie quote. Like, I'm a Casablanca guy.
All right, what's the quote, Skip?
And all the hold on. I'm a Casablanca guy. And it's got some of the greatest quotes of all time. One of them is like, in all the gin joints in all the world, you had a walk into mine. Or play it, Sam, play as time goes by. Or we'll always have Paris. Those are Casablanca quotes. Round up the usual suspects. This movie has one of the greatest quotes of all time. And I'll preface it by saying these two in the course of the movie have an up and down relationship within the course of the movie. They're together, they're not together. They're together, they're not together. In one key sequence, there is a scene where Anna says to him, she walks into the bookshop and she says, I'm just a girl standing in front of a guy asking him to love her. I mean, girls absolutely swooned for this scene. This is like, oh my God, this is an incredible thing. How did they come up with this line of dialogue? It's such an incredible quote. Katie, when you, for first time, never seeing this movie before, when you saw this scene, you saw this quote, what did you think?
I felt like every girl's always trying to get the attention of that person. That's probably one of the biggest downfalls of being a female is you would just always have that insecurity and always just want that reassurance from that person. And that's what she was doing.
All right. Now, Vinny, when you've seen this quote and you've seen her go into that bookstore after they had their period of ups and downs and whatever, and he was discouraged because, remember, he went to the apartment and her boyfriend was in there. Alec Baldwin was in there. What do you think about this quote and that particular line of dialogue in the context of this movie? And
an aspect of him or her?
Both of them. Any aspect of it. Because this is...
Hold on, real quick. I was going to say, it's very much, to me, came across as her reaching out, saying, this is my last hope. I hope that you're feeling the same way.
Yeah, and here's the thing: when they were inside the hotel, like you could see, even though like he picked her up and gave her a kiss and was like, "What do you want to order?" And she's like, "I don't know." You could see the worriness on her face, like I wonder what he's thinking. This is an awkward moment. So with that quote, I feel like
No, aren't we talking about the bookstore?
Bookstore, yeah, Vinny.
Yeah,
She
not
came
the
into the
boyfriend.
bookstore. She came into the bookstore near the end of the movie.
She came into the bookstore. She went to William and said this important line, which indicated basically, hey, I'm yours if you want it, or are you going to let me go?
and he was there listening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was standing in front of her. That's the whole idea of the quote.
Well, I mean, I've had this before.
Oh, you did?
I've had this happen to me before.
Oh, really?
Yep.
We'll explain a little bit real quick.
Well,
how did it feel?
It was hard. It was hard because had I thought about it like I do all the time now, I feel like my answer would have been different. And they always say, like, when you see people fighting and you know a friend that's always fighting with their significant other or boyfriend or whatever, and you say, why don't you leave that person? And that person says, yeah, I know, it's comfortable. You're comfortable with the situation. So when it happened to me, I felt like in the way that I was living, I was comfortable. Was I happy? No. Was I content? Yes. But I wasn't as happy as I could have been. So when that happened to me and those words came across, not just like that, but they came across to me like, hey, listen, this is your final and last chance. If you want this, you can have it. Um, I I blew up and I gave it away like a moron. Like it haunts me every single day of my life. Like it just you're not when you just don't think about things, man. And in the heat of the moment, you don't think about it. It's things that after the fact it happens. And this is it's very common and everybody's life and everyday life that something comes across to that person and that person gives it up and they wish they can relive that moment because I would do it a lot differently.
Yeah, wow, that's opening up a lot, Vinny. I appreciate you doing that. I never had anything like this ever happen to me in my lifetime, so I don't have the relatability of this moment. But I want to transition. We don't have a lot of time left, but I want to transition from that. And I think this is an amazing scene. I mean, it is one of those quotes that lives in infamy, like "Show me the money" and all this kind of stuff. These quotes that you'll never forget. It is one of the great movie quotes of all time, and it deserves to be in that annals of the greatest 100 quotes of all time on AFI's list. But I want to transition. We don't have a lot of time left, but I want to transition to happy endings.
Hey, Skip, how much time do we have left?
Well,
Not much.
Don't worry.
Not much time.
Not much time.
Not much time. Happy endings. I want to start with you first.
I've had that a couple times.
Do you believe in happy endings?
Absolutely. Yep, I believe it. When I walk into a certain place and I say, "Give me the special."
No, not this.
Are
you talking about the Bill Belichick special?
Sorry.
The context of this movie. Happy endings,
the movie.
Not going down the gutter. Get your mind out of the gutter. Come on, Vinny. You watch the movie. Happy endings. Do you believe in happy endings in life, in context of this movie?
Yes, I do. I believe if you want it badly and you want something that you lost, I feel like the only way to capture it back is to work hard, believe in yourself, and hopefully one day that situation will circle back around.
All right. That's opening up. That's very good. All right, Katie, what is your thoughts about happy endings? And do you believe in happy endings within the context of this movie?
That's hard because I believe in the whole first half about falling in love at first sight, multiple chances. I do believe in. I guess I relate to my own life, and I've had situations where, you go back and forth so many times with somebody, even though you know you love that person, you want to be with that person. Is it reality? I don't know. I don't know about happy endings.
Wow, that's very good. That's very candid of you. I myself, in the context of this movie, do not believe in happy endings. And I'll tell you why. Because I feel like life isn't meant for everybody to have a happy life. There are people in life that do not have a happy life. They don't have a happy relationship. They don't have a happy marriage. They don't have a happy girlfriend-boyfriend relationship or whatever, a boyfriend-boyfriend relationship or whatever you say. And some people just aren't meant to be happy. Happiness is something that is it's like that unicorn that isn't always out there for everybody to get. And I feel like I'm one of those people that never had happiness in his life. So this is why this is a movie, and this is a rom-com, and it's in a context of a movie that there is a happy ending in this movie. But it really isn't relatable to real life, I feel like, even though there are a lot of relatable things, as Vinny and Katie talked about within the context of this movie. I just feel discouraged when I watch and I see that this movie did have a happy ending because it's not real. It's not a reality for a lot of people, and myself included. And that's the part about this movie where I feel like it's a good movie and I enjoyed it, and I love the quote and so forth, and I like the performances. But it's not like one of these movies that like it's a 5 out of 5 for me. It's more probably I'd give this movie like a 4 stars out of 5.
Would you give it the same rating if we were in 1999 compared to what it would be now?
I think I'd give it at least a 3.5, 4 stars back then, as I would give it today. Yeah, I'd give it around a 3.5 to 4 stars. Yeah, I was in my early 20s in 1999, probably 23, 24 maybe. Katie, what would you give Notting Hill as a rating out of 5?
Well, there's only so many rom-coms that I actually can watch because of my background. I cannot watch The Notebook. I will not watch it because of my background. But this one was a great balance for me. It was entertaining to me. So I would probably give it a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Okay. Vinny, what would you give Notting Hill out of 5 stars?
3 out of 4.
I said out of 5. So 3. 3 out of 5. Okay, 3 out of 5. All right. So Vinny's going to give it 3 out of 5. All right. So first of all, Katie, thank you for coming on and talking to us about Notting Hill. I love the fact that this is the first watch for you. You got an experience that none of me and Vinny wouldn't have ever had because we've already seen the movie. And I love that you had that opportunity to see this movie for the first time and have just a whole new outlook on something that you never had a chance to see. So that's fantastic. And where can you be found if you want to be found out there in the ether of the internet?
In her bedroom.
Sleeping. It's normally where I would be.
Okay,
sleeping.
Right. Okay.
No, you can find me on Instagram at Cactus Caitie. But yes, I hope thank you so much, Mr. Dan Skip Allen and Miss Vincent for having me. Hopefully this was entertaining to everybody. Thank you for allowing us to be vulnerable and open ourselves up to this. It was a pleasure.
Wait a minute, hold on. Nope, stop. That is not going to work. You can always find Cactus Caitie every Wednesday night on the All Elite Heat podcast on Unpopular Review. Check it out. Like, subscribe, join us. Go to YouTube. You can watch it on StreamYard, Instagram. Check it out. You can always catch me on Friday nights for the SmackDown Showdown. Excuse me. SmackDown Showdown.
Also another UPR show.
Another UPR show.
Yeah, these guys are big wrestling nuts. I used to be wrestling nut. I'm not into it anymore because it discourages me all the time. But you can find me under my name, Dan Skip Allen, on Facebook, Instagram / Threads, X/Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky, under any alias of Dan Skip Allen, at DP Skip Allen, or FromTheFourthRow.com. Also, you can find me at FromTheFourthRow.com, where I'm the owner, editor-in-chief, and head film critic of FromTheFourthRow.com. There's all kinds of content there. TV reviews. We have the weekly Euphoria review from season 3. We have recently, just dropped today, the Mandalorian and Grogu review. We have all kinds of different movies, all the new movies that are coming out this summer, blockbusters and so forth, on FromTheFourthRow.com. I have multiple writers. We're all working hard to give readers out there the best content possible. So for Vinny, for Katie, and for myself, good night, everybody.